This workshop was held in Denver, Colorado on Saturday, the first day of June of the year 2019.
I knew you were going to pick me.
We knew you knew. Well, there's no resistance in a thought like that. And a thought like that is uber powerful.
Yeah, so I wrote down some things. First off, Esther, thank you for all that you are. You bring so much value to this world.
She's having a really good time. Mostly. Little ground glass.
Abraham, thank you for all that you are. This is my first time having the privilege of seeing you in person. Since I began listening to you a few years ago, my life has completely changed for the better. I have been blessed with opportunities to do what I love all over the world, and I know that there is so much more on its way to me now. Through listening to you, I'm learning that our suffering is self-imposed.
Every time.
I want to break that cycle and live as my true, wealthy, and happy self.
Yeah.
Can you help me to feel how Source feels, and also to feel what it will be like when my biggest dreams manifest?
Well, you know, we're going to start right there. You can continue in a moment with whatever else is there, but I want to start there because you hit right on what's really hot on our plate these days. And that is that through what you've been living, you have put ingredients in your vortex, ingredients for creations that you can't yet see from where you are, but that are there ready for your realization. So when you are in the state that you are in, where you are feeling appreciation for what's going on, that's the perfect place to be for a steady escalation and expansion of more and more. This is the leading edge piece that we are on these days, since there is a consciousness there that knows in greater detail than you do right now all of the things that you want, all the delicious possibilities and probabilities along the way for you. And what you're wanting to know is, how can you more realize them, or how can you help them along the way? The answer to that is stay out of the way. We're asking you to daydream, and we'll talk about that a good deal today. But sometimes you run around nightmaring instead, getting hold of a thought that feels awful when you think it, and you just keep mulling it over. And that's when you do that thing that you do that causes you to hold yourself in a vibration apart from being able to experience what's being revealed to you. Most humans don't really even know about their vortex, and they don't know the power of it. But what we are wanting to emphasize here, right now, is something that we've been talking about for a long time, but never this clearly. We want you to experience firsthand the power of non-resistant thought. And we want you to therefore recognize the mundane quality, the lack of power in a normal human objective pros and cons, pluses and minus thought. And when you're in the receiving mode, then your vibrational reality can begin to occur to you in its whatever form you're ready to realize. If we could convince you today of the existence of this vibrational reality, this vortex, if you really believed us, things that you want would begin pouring to your experience in such frequency and abundance that those around you would think that something freaky had happened to you. And a daydream occurs just for a moment, and it's just blissful about some experience, and it's a what you want and why you want it, but you are not yet trying to fill in how, where, when, and who, which always complicates it by adding resistance to it. As you catch these glimpses and just savor them. Now, we don't want you to learn to do this so that you can make wonderful things happen, although as you learn to do this, you will cause wonderful things to happen. But we don't want your motive to be, this is how I get wonderful things to happen. We want your motive to be, this is who I am. This is how I am supposed to feel. This is me in sync with the power of the universe, feeling no need to apply effort, no need to justify my worthiness, No need to defend against anything. Just me, naturally me, standing in this blessed place of acknowledging the beauty and blessedness of my being and getting to realize it and enjoy the realization of it. Oh, you know those positive emotions that you feel sometimes? That's you in sync with your inner being and feeling what your inner being is feeling in that moment. That's you tuned in, tapped in, turned on. That's you in your true, full power. If we were standing in your physical shoes, knowing what we know and knowing what we know about you and why you're here, we would allot 1% of our experience to the struggle of life where we're launching desires. 1%. And the other 99% we would be daydreaming. The other 99% would be basking, would have our feet in the river, would be floating on the sea, would be making love, we would be eating something delicious, we would be focused upon the beauty of nature and what is around, we would be daydreaming about any of those things, we would be sitting in a closet with no external awareness of anything, and our mind would be going to those kinds of places. Not because we need to create, but because that's who we all are. We are meant to feel good. We are meant to feel good, and the universe responds to our good feeling. Now hear this. Have you ever thought about, let's think about it. Your magnificent planet spinning in perfect proximity to other planets. Those are big thoughts that keep that happening. Wait, not big thoughts, pure thoughts. Non-resistant thoughts. Non-fearful thoughts, non-physical thoughts. Good thing your thoughts aren't controlling that. We're just wanting to give you a little bit of relational comparison. We're not wanting you to feel bad. We're wanting you to realize that the power of non-resistant thought is true power, and that's what you're reaching for here. And imagine the vortex of creation that you all rode in on. We can't really find a way to present to Esther a vibration that gives her obvious words, that helps her to explain to you in words the enormity of the lives that have been lived before you and the goodness that has been honed from that life, and the bigness of this vortex of well-being, that when you tap into it just a little bit and utilize the power of that non-resistance, that then what it accomplishes for you here in this physical environment is indescribable. People see you as masters. They just can't figure out how things happen for you the way they do. The clarity of your mind is just outrageous in comparison with most of the confusion people are running around in. But even more, it is the joy that you radiate as you move through life, because you know things that they have forgotten. You know the goodness of you, and you know the power of this energy, and you know the power of source energy, and you know the reason that you are here, and the perfection of you using your mind to focus upon what you want, to utilize the energy that creates worlds toward what matters to you, to blessed you see. Ooh. So doesn't it sort of make you want to stop mucking around in trying to fix things that are not really fixable, to try to explain to others things that they're not ready to hear? Don't you sort of just want to get into your focus and get into your alignment? Don't you want to meditate and allow your vibration to rise? And don't you want to just be nicer to yourself more of the time? And don't you want to spend more time in the daydream and less time facing reality? Don't you want to be a creator of magnificent reality? You are creators of reality. You are. Everything that comes to you, you have created it. You're all getting this right, whether you know you are or not. You are all expanding, and you're all exploring, and you're all building the vortex, and future generations will benefit from the vortex that you are creating now, because those new babies are born resistance-free. Takes them a while for their parents to talk them into resistance, you see. They're born resistance-free. You can return to being resistance-free if you want, or you can succeed in a way that is less pleasant. In any case, Your life is a success. You are exploring. You are doing what you intended to do. You are adding magnificently to the universe. And when you make your reemergence into non-physical, which we like to call croaking and you like to call death, but since there isn't any death, we be disrespectful about it because we're all eternal beings. When you make your transition into the non-physical and then realize all of the wonderful things that have been accomplished because of you, and immediately you're in that place of non-resistance. Oh, croaking is so much fun. We just don't think you should have to croak to feel that way. We think that you should be able to be in your body, have an experience, not let it set your hair on fire, use your logic to realize what you want, use your emotions to evaluate whether you're resisting it or going along with it, use some tools like appreciating and segment intending, getting out ahead of it. We'll talk more about that. Until you've got your hands in the clay all the time. And oh, it's so much fun. You know it. When you think a thought of something you want, you practice the thought of it. You let the practiced thought of delight of this new creation become dominant in your experience, because that's what you think about more than its absence. And then it begins to show itself to you in abundance in lots of different ways. And each time something happens, you know that you are a part of that creation. And that journey of constant and continual unfolding is what you were born to live. It's what we are all about. Never ending, joyous becoming. That's who we all are, you see. And if anything less than that is happening, now you can't stop becoming, so that's taken care of. But joy is optional. That requires focused. So, did we get there? We had to have, because we gave you everything in our bucket.
Thank you.
You have to set time aside to let your daydreams flow. When you were little, do you remember? Do you remember daydreaming? And what were the elements of it? What were the elements that allowed it? Nobody was after you. In fact, usually nobody even knew where you were. You're doing that for your kids, or do you know where they are every damn minute? Nobody knew where you were. You felt free in this moment. Free of what? Free of responsibility, free of serving others, free of getting something done. You felt like you feel when you were born, here to experience and to expand and to experience joy. So how are you going to carve some of that time out for yourself? We were standing in your physical shoes, we'd be looking for it, even if it required getting up a little earlier before anyone knows where you are, before anyone is making demands on your time, before you feel that responsibility that you should be doing something else. You just be. You just be. What would that feel like to just be? Just be with no urge to prove worthiness or responsibility or sacrifice to anyone. Just be. Just be. Because if you'll carve out a little bit of time like that for yourself every day, you'll discover how Source feels about you. And you might wonder, I don't know why you love me so much. I can feel it, but I really don't deserve your love because I'm lazy right now. I'm not accomplishing anything right now. I'm just being. You sure you still love me, Source? And then they're gone. You can't feel them anymore because you have reasoned them right out of your experience. But if you will just be a little bit, just be. Really good place to start. Something else on your paper that we have overlooked?
Not that I believe. Thank you.